Hello, my name is Franz Joseph B. Obcena. I'm from CPE41 in a regular student, and today I'm here to present to you my presentation of the solo project called WebCam Based Hand Gesture Game by Franz Joseph B. Obcena. In this introduction is that this project was based on the integration between the computer vision, real-time and real-time gesture recognition, which uses a Python, OpenCV, MediaPipe, and Pygame to create an most immersive gameplay experience. The player controls a spaceship using hand gestures to protect Earth from threats, which that which this project was explored by using hand gestures based gaming as alternative to traditional controllers, enhancing accessibility and immersion. The key technology that I've been using on this project was the OpenCV, which is a video processing, MediaPipe for hand tracking and gesture recognition, as this, and Pygame for developing my own homemade game, and NumPy for mathematical operations or you may call it the random generated random generated to make the game work. And lastly is computer visions and AI to map users' gestures to game mechanics dynamically. The background of this project was between the traditional versus the base gaming. So traditional gaming relies on physical controllers, keyboards, or touch-based inputs, but gesture-based controls provides a more intuitive, engaging, and natural experience. This application extends to like virtual reality, robotics, accessibility tools, and human computer interactions. But why gesture-based gaming? Well, because in this project is that you don't need to buy any specialized hardware. Just standard webcam is efficient or mid-tier or low-tier, and enhances accessibility that enables those with the limited mobility to play, which can utilize this advancement in the AI and computer vision to provide seamless real-time tracking. The objectives of this project was based on developing a gesture-based control system using a standard webcam to implement real-time gesture recognition to interact seamlessly with the game, provide a responsive and engaging user experience through a gesture-based mechanics, and lastly, offer multiple difficulty levels to enhance the replayability and challenge adaptability among the gamers or players. So my methodology of this was the game components I've been developing, such as you may already heard, a computer vision module, which captures and processes video's input in real time, what uses OpenCV and Metrify to detect and track hand landmarks and analyze hand gestures to convert them into a game commands. The game engine was built by using a Pygame to handle rendering, animation, physics, and interaction, which is also manages spaceship movements, enemy behaviors, collisions of asteroids and beams, and lastly the dynamic game events. Lastly is the interaction layer, which maps hand gestures to game controls. As an example of moving an index finger left and right moves the spaceship horizontally, raising the thumb that triggers the spaceship to fire energy beams at enemies. The game flow is simple. You all you gotta do is you gotta capture a live video frame from the webcam, process each frame using a media device to detect hand gestures, convert detected gesture into game controls such as movement and shooting, update game objects dynamically, spaceship, enemies, projectiles, explosions, rendering the updated game state in real time, repeat the process at 30 to 60 frames per second for smooth gameplay, and lastly, game continues until victory or defeat conditions are met. So the only difference here was the game modes and difficulty level. So for easy mode, the slower enemies, a few asteroids, longer cooldowns. But in normal difficulty, balanced difficulty, moderate enemy speed, and lastly the hard, faster enemies, frequent asteroids, and requiring quick responses. The features and functionalities that you can see on Figure 1 main menu is that it shows the first screen the player sees. You're gonna need to either press two options, press space to start or Q to quit the game. And the background I use is the space theme to set the game's atmosphere. But why is this important? Well, as you can see, it provides a simple and intuitive way to navigate the game, which ensures the users understands how to start or exit the game that sets the tone and theme for the game using a sci-fi space aesthetic. The second figure was the difficulty selection menu, and it shows that after pressing the space button or start in the main menu, players are presented with three difficulties: easy, slower enemies, fewer obstacles, long cooldown for shooting, normal for balanced gameplay, and moderate difficulty, and hard, faster enemies, more frequent asteroids, shorter shooting cooldown. The difficulty level affects, as such, like I said again, enemy speed, asteroid frequency, and the challenge level. But why it is important? Well, because it customizes the gameplay based on the player's skill level, encourages replayability by offering multiple challenge levels, and adapts the game for both casual and experienced players. The third figure was me using testing this gameplay with hand tracking activated, and it shows that the game in action with the player's hand being tracked in real time using media pipe. That the player or me controls the spaceship by moving their hand or left or right. A webcam feed button at the right corner displays the detected hand skeleton, which confirms that the system is accurately tracking the hand movements. And the most important thing is that it demonstrates gesture-based controls and action, ensures real-time feedback, so the player knows how their gestures are being recognized. Reduces the need for additional input, such as no long input that is no longer need for keyboard or nor control required. The fourth one was the gesture-based attack mechanism, which is that the player performs a thumbs up gesture to fire a laser beam at the enemies or asteroids. Or we can do this. But the media pipe detects the gesture and translates it into an in-game shooting action. The beam travels upward toward enemies aiming to destroy threats before they reach Earth. And the most important thing is that it introduces the gesture-based combat, making gameplay more interactive. Ensures a precision-based control where gestures trigger specific actions, enhance immersion of players, use natural hand movements instead of pressing buttons. Lastly, of this figure was the enemy hit and explosion effect that it shows that successful hit an enemy spaceship or asteroid, which impact triggers a realistic explosion animation indicating destruction. The enemy's health bar reduces upon being hit, contributing to gameplay progression. And the most important thing is to provide a clear visual feedback when attacks are successful, and that improves the satisfaction and excitement of defeating the enemies. Makes the games more dynamic and engaging by adding real-time effects. The result and performance of this analysis of my creation is that it can able to go up to 30 to 60 frames per second, ensure smooth gameplay, and during high intensity sequences, gesture recognition accuracy is over 95% under optimal lighting conditions, and response time is 20 milliseconds per frame, ensuring real-time player feedback. The most evaluation challenges for me is the lighting conditions, which poor lighting reduces tracking accuracy, and a collision of overlapping fingers may cause incorrect gesture recognition. And lastly, the background noise, which excessive movement in the webcam's view can interfere with tracking. The observed gameplay performance, gesture-based control provides a more immersive experience with higher difficulty levels, demands faster and more precise gestures. The adaptive lighting adjustments may improve tracking efficiency. And overall, players find controls initiative engaging compared to traditional inputs. So yeah, that's about it. In this conclusion, the key takeaway of my project is that it was successfully integrated real-time hand tracking into an interactive game, which gesture-based controls enhance accessibility and user engagement that demonstrates the potential of computer vision in gaming and interactive application. For future improvements, is that I need to improve gestures recognition accuracy for low light environments, introduce more complex gestures to enhance gameplay diversity, expand to VR and AR application for broader interactive experience, and lastly, optimize performance to reduce latency in gesture and recognition. So in beyond gaming is that the potential application in virtual reality accessible tools, rehabilitation therapy, and human computer interaction. And the gesture technology can be expanded into robotics and AI driven interfaces as well on this project. So Thank you for watching, and I hope you find this video very satisfying.